Hey guys, I'm back. Again. For people wondering where I've mostly been sitting on my ass, eating peanuts and watching anime. And been at work. Like, lots of work. On the plus side, I got to take a vacation for 2 weeks recently, and it kind of rekindled my inspiration. For anyone interested, I have been making videos in the meantime, or at least I've been trying to. I started 2 or 3 projects, but none of them really clicked, so I had to abandon them. I have a couple of ideas on the back burner now though, and this is one of them. But you didn't come here for my rambling about myself, right? Especially with like 1 billion other video game reviewers to watch. No, you are here for some weird and interesting horror video games. Well, I'm happy to deliver to you what I think are interesting video games. I'm sure I will do more of these in the future. These are mostly games I've been playing between now and whenever my last video was, so like 3 months or something. Oh shit. But there are also some games I've played in the past that I never really thought were a good fit for a video on their own. This is 3 hidden horror games you might not have heard of. Kagero, Shadow Corridor. This is a game that got quietly released in March 2019 on Steam, and recently got a Japanese-only Switch release. This is a game that was brought to my attention by Devilmelon, who also imported the Switch release for whatever reason. What the fuck? So, this is one of those Asian horror games, and looking at the screenshots, it had me instantly interested. Just look at those red colors everywhere. It sort of looks like something I'd imagine the Red World to look like from the My House of Horrors web novel. Like 0.01% of you will get that comparison. So the game starts off with you in Japan being drawn into this alley. And right here it already looks really good. I love the way they really made it look like Japan, although the constant pop-ins feel like popping bubble wrap. But the atmosphere here is still pretty good. There's nothing scary happening here, but it honestly feels like something is coming. This is the beginning of the first stage, and I honestly didn't get the ending. See, you walk in this creepy tunnel, and then you kind of walk back out. Or is this supposed to mean that you walked through the tunnel? It doesn't look like I went through the tunnel. I honestly don't get this part. Is this just woohoo, spoopy, the world changed? Or am I missing something here? Either way, the world looks different now. Next thing you know, you walk into the scary house and touch a mirror, and it seems like you phase through the mirror. And this is where the atmosphere starts to get really good. The way this old Japanese house looks, and how unnaturally big it is, looks amazing. It honestly reminds me a little bit of Nana's My House walkthrough. If you haven't seen that video, go and watch it, it's really good. Just look at the way the candles light up only part of the corridor, so you can't really see very far. And this gets even better looking with the lighter. The lighter tints the world perfectly without a dumb overlay and makes it even scarier, but you still need it in order to see. Just don't use the flashlight. It destroys whatever atmosphere the lighter builds. This looks like the standard Unity flashlight all these Slender games used to use. Oh, speaking of Slender games, I'm glad that trend is over now. I always hated that creepypasta. I couldn't even get into Marble Hornets much. Slenderman always just looked goddamn goofy to me. Anyway, where was I? Shadow Corridor, right, that's it. Yeah, the second stage kind of becomes a Slender clone, so to say. Although it is a good Slender clone, and it doesn't go You walk around looking for these fragments in order to escape. Besides these fragments, there are lots of other interesting and honestly pretty unique items to find. There's a camera that can scare off monsters, a mirror that can quickly teleport you to a random location, these blue balls here that you can drop and pick up however much you like to light up the room a bit without the monsters noticing, and marking places you've been to. They also make for a pretty good decoration. I'm sure there's a joke in here somewhere. Then there are all sorts of passive items that you can pick up. Each of them have a unique ability that can really come in handy. I especially like this mask. Its ability is to limit your field of view and slow down your stamina regeneration. There's something about these masks. Even the monsters wear them, and then there are these insects that are shaped like a mask. Get the fuck off me! Get off! Finally. They do get a deeper meaning later in the story though. Speaking of the story, there seems to be an illusion of a story. Well, okay, there are characters, there's dialogue, and then there are pages of a diary scattered all over the place, but the story is really bare bones. Now, I gotta admit, I don't know if this is based on some real Japanese folklore. But to me, this game is really about the monsters and finding ways to escape them. The game is 6:59 and I've played it for about 4 hours and I'm not finished yet. All the stages look unique, but it is a little annoying that the whole collect this object stages repeat a lot. I'm not sure if I can forgive that, honestly. The atmosphere is very unique, but there has to be more to a horror game than collect X times Y. Thankfully, there are also some more puzzly stages. For example, when you have to pass this area here without alarming the ghost. Speaking of ghosts, there are about 8 or 9 different ones I've seen so far. It's hard to get a good look at them in the dark, but maybe that's intended. I always thought that it was a good way to make your monsters. Try to make their actual features very hard to see. The imagination is stronger than some model an indie developer can make. As an example, I'd suggest playing or watching a let's play of the free indie game Nighttime Visitor, and you'll understand what I mean immediately. While the sound design isn't the best on this list, it is still pretty amazing for an indie game. All monsters make a unique sound, and it also has a very good 3D sound, making it easy to tell how close a monster is. Sitting in a dark corner while you hear a creepy noise just outside the room is really tense. I love the way this was done, honestly. The monsters are all very different from one another. Some of them are fast, others are slow, some of them need a couple of seconds to break a door down. Others just brute force their way through it. They're also different in the way that they detect the player. Some monsters are more sensitive to light and some to noise. This is really well thought out, and despite the flaws it has, it is obvious that the creator of this game put his heart into it. All in all, I would really recommend this game. It is actually pretty spoopy at places, and the atmosphere can be really good. It is also on the cheaper side, so if you're short on money and want an Asian horror game with unique monsters and a unique atmosphere, this is a pretty good pick. On the downside, this game can get repetitive, but I still find myself continuing for longer than I wanted to play each session just to see what other monsters would show up. So I'd say give it a go. Dead End Road. Imagine if there was a ritual that could deliver anything that you wanted to you, for a price. Would you pay the price? Would you take the risk? Dead End Road was released July 2016 and is another one of those atmospheric indie horror games. It's about a ritual. But this game has an interesting twist that I would love if horror games exploited more often. This is a driving horror game. Not a lot of those. I mean, there is Beware, but as far as I know, that game only has a demo so far. And to be honest, it doesn't really bring things to the table I would expect a driving horror game to have. See, in Beware, you drive around and there are other cars with weird creatures in them trying to chase you down. And then there's that weird granny you follow through the woods. Yeah, I don't know. The graphics and environment look nice, but I kind of expected something cooler. Now, Dead End Road, on the other hand, absolutely delivers. You start the game by entering an old lady's house and then typing out your wish. Then this thing happens. And then you get the shit out of there as fast as you can. Now, to complete the ritual, you need 3 things: a book, a bell, and a candle. On your trip to Dead End Road, you have to look through the creepy little antique stores and the tiny pawn shops with clerks you can't quite trust, looking for these items. Now, you can buy a broken bell, for example, to save some money, but in the end, will a broken bell be enough to complete the ritual? You can also really take any book with you, but maybe a more expensive book with more spiritual power would be smarter. See, there is a very good balance between risk and reward here, but generally speaking, you probably want to go with the more expensive choice. As you start driving around, you notice weird things happening on the road that just get weirder as the time goes by. This is one of those games that has a type of sanity health system. You can visit doctors you find in small towns that are still open in the middle of the night for whatever reason. And the atmosphere here is great. It reminds me a little bit of Vampires the Masquerade when you visit that clinic in LA. God, I fucking love Vampires the Masquerade Bloodlines. I adore that game, I'm not kidding. Now, let's move on before I start fangasming even more on those vampire twins. I swear I didn't mean it that way. Okay, maybe I did. The horror in this game doesn't happen outside of your car. Oh no, the horror in this game happens everywhere. Inside your car, in your head, or outside of it. Was that really a flying eyeball? God damn it, I can't see anything! Help! That's what Dead End Road is. See, usually a car puts a physical barrier between you and whatever threat is outside. But if handled right, it could be amazingly creepy. Have you ever heard of the ritual creepypasta 11 Miles? If you haven't, then maybe I should just narrate that sometime. If you have, then that's what I'm looking for in a potential driving horror game. Let me give you an example. So, you're driving around the road and there's a person on the side of the road that asks for you to take them. You take them with you on the prospect of money, since you need to manage the health of your car too in this game. And you also need to refuel it. And see how creepy this passenger is? You kind of just want to turn your interior lights off, but do you want to risk not seeing what they are doing? They are a complete stranger after all. The atmosphere is just so damn creepy. I can't even quite explain what I like about it so much, but I'm a big fan of what they did here. All good things must come to an end though. This game does have its downsides. Most of the encounters are randomly generated, meaning that sometimes you'll just lose because of a streak of bad luck, like gambling away all your money in this trustworthy supermarket. Okay, this time I'll win for sure. Damn it! Okay, one more time. I'm feeling lucky. This is the last time, I swear. Fuck. Damn it. Okay, maybe one last time. Okay, I lost. That was my last time. I'll stop now. It can also become kind of repetitive really quickly. Sure, there are some interesting things and you can strategize a little bit by driving slower or faster or picking a different path each time, but in the end, there really is not that much content here, especially since there's obviously one best path. I love the concept, and I'm really honestly surprised so little game developers have picked up on this niche genre yet. I feel like there is so much untapped potential here. Maybe somebody will scratch this itch eventually, but until then, I do find myself coming back to Dead End Road every now and then. Darkwood. Now, some people may call this cheating. This game was a little more popular than the other two, and it is a little bit more expensive too. But to be fair, it does provide a lot more gameplay. To be honest, I have been thinking about doing a full review on this game, because it's really great, but what the hell, let's just put it in here, and if I make a full review, you will know. Eventually. Maybe. As the game starts, the oppressive and grungy mood is immediately set by the intro cinematic, which gives us some insight in what's been going on. What comes after that is a brief period of time where you play as a doctor who... Wait, this sounds familiar. I also have the urge to suddenly say subscribe to Wild Potato Industries. Huh. Strange. Well, whatever. So you start playing and you are in some sort of dark woods. Well, got me there. You play as a doctor, as I said earlier, but it seems that there's something wrong with him. You can immediately notice the great atmosphere this game offers, despite being top-down. I'm usually not really a fan of this gameplay mechanic, but Darkwood pulls it off so well that you can really just admire it, even if you dislike the style. I mean, just look at the rooms and how creepy they're designed. These little mushrooms that make that squishy noise and twitch in the corner. Squishy, squishy, squish. Look at this corpse and the way it moves. I just love it. So the atmosphere delivers perfectly here. So the doctor finds an unconscious man and then you play as that man. This is the actual main character. Laying there, in his own blood. Yeah, that's you. The rest of the prologue is straightforward. Pick a lock, find a box, take a bat, crush a dog, and then the night slowly creeps up. You can almost feel the oppressive darkness gnawing at the windows. Remember how I said that Shadow Corridor didn't have the best sound design on this list? Well, the sound design of this game is extraordinary good. You just want to hide in a corner and hope whatever is outside will leave you the fuck alone! But of course they don't, and instead rip your heart out. After that you wake up in your own makeshift house, and this is where the real game begins. You have to set up traps and barricade the windows for the night to come. There's also a generator you have to refill and only turn on at night to save that little bit of fuel in order to make it through another night. This game is just really oppressive. You can't hide, you can't run, you can hope you're prepared well enough to make it through the next night, but you probably will never be prepared enough. You even find a piece of paper that tells you that you cannot hide, and the darkness is not your friend. This whole game is just so oppressive and creepy, and you can feel it everywhere. Not only in your safe house, which honestly isn't really all that safe. Just look at that huge hole in your wall. Holy shit. Best I can do is shove the wardrobe in front and put a trap down. But everywhere else in the forest too. You will have to go outside, scavenge supplies, and you will have to walk further and further to find more supplies. The eventual goal is to leave the forest through the underground tunnel. I think? Yeah, I haven't actually finished this game yet, but I probably will at some point. Once I get through Danganronpa. I swear, I played that game for 21 hours in the past 3 days. Somebody come save me! So as I said, you will need to look for supplies too, because if you don't, you'll be stuck in the dark, and that will not end well for you. While exploring, you'll keep coming across more and more creepy things. For example, the occasional rabid dog and trapped houses by residents who have been gone for a long time. But you will find other survivors. Some will trade with you and others... well... others, I'm not even sure if they are still human. Everything is overgrown with the forest's leaves, grass, and vines, and it's a struggle to live in this game. This isn't Minecraft. Nights here are scary, and you will die if you don't take care of yourself and barricade yourself correctly. This mix of strategy, crafting and building, survival, RPG, and horror is really unique as far as I know. There is a DLC for Alien Isolation called Safe Haven, in which you constantly look for supplies, complete certain missions, and then return to your safe room. This game is a little bit like that, minus the room. And the save, for that matter. I love this game and I really want to play it some more. I said earlier that the sound design especially impressed me, and it is the very reason you never feel safe inside your hideout. Not only can you hear creepy noises all night, but you will also see things happening inside your house, like poison mushrooms suddenly growing in the middle of your room for no reason. And then when you come back, they're just gone. There are also some cracks in the wall so you can peek into other rooms. You can also peek outside, but maybe you shouldn't do that. Don't want to attract unwanted attention. All of this is so well executed and fits so well together that I cannot recommend this game enough to horror fans, especially those that are into audible horror. Like with Dead End Road, I do not understand how this game concept hasn't been adopted into a fully fledged 3D game yet. Just imagine this in the style Resi 7 was made. Then again, who knows if that would work. Sometimes these indie games have a certain charm that makes them really click way better than modern graphics. This game is exceptionally good, and in my eyes, it hasn't gotten the attention it deserves. Well, thank you all for watching my little collection here. I had a hard time finding games that are actually good, creepy, but also short, but just long enough to fit this list. I hope some of you found a new game today that they want to play, and if you did, go ahead and buy it. All the games I mentioned I personally think are awesome. Or you could just go and watch some random Let's Play, whatever the kids do nowadays. I hope I won't stay dead this time, so bear with me here. I do have some new ideas on the back burner, as I said in the beginning, and I hope I can follow through with those. So, thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you all soon.